and we don't have national, mobilization to saying that no to violence in our community. So, when it comes to public safety, I never compromise, and I'm not politically correct when it comes to public safety. So, and I will not, allow anybody to get my vote or mobilize people to vote for someone who will compromise public safety. Because with all the economic, affordable housing, jobs, good schools, and everything, will not happen if people are not safe in their neighborhood. It will never happen if kids cannot go to school because of gangs and bullying and everything. It will never happen if drug dealers do more business on the corners than construction workers constructing business and buildings. So I want you to join me to question this would be, our mayor about public safety. If we do that, everything else will fall where they may. Now, finally, in the Bronx, and my audience again, especially the African community, I want you to understand that things are changing for the better in the Bronx, and it is time now to buy the Bronx. It is time now to call Bronx what it has always been, a home where people can raise families, open businesses, and go to school and do things. Bronx now is what Bronx should be, and it is getting better. A couple of weeks ago, the mayor as well as the board of president announced Kingsbridge Armory to become the world's largest skating rink. That is a great economic development for the Bronx. And a couple of weeks ago, I would say maybe 2 weeks ago, the mayor again announced that the master type golf course is ready now and will open. And this is the only golf course that the masters can be played right here in the Bronx. And I serve on the community board in my area, and we have these groups who are now trying to put ferry, waterways. I mean, they're creating ferry routes so that instead of you going to Manhattan and driving or whatever, you take the ferry. And just like people who go into Staten Island, it will be fast, it will be clean, it will be enjoyable, it will be nice, and then you'll go to Manhattan in no time. And these are all developments that we should cherish and we should understand and we should take advantage of it. That's why I want you to buy the Bronx. I want you to open businesses. I want you to buy homes. Bronx is the last place for gentrification to take effect. In Brooklyn, in Manhattan, they're almost complete. But the Bronx, we still have the opportunities to buying homes, at least a little bit cheaper than other boroughs. And we should do it because I predict 10 to 15 years from now, we will have the most beautiful county, perhaps maybe as beautiful as it once was or even more beautiful. So therefore, invest in the Bronx. Don't run away because Bronx is back now. And now, last but not least, to my audience, and especially to my African audience. Today, I'm just really targeting the African, community because this is a community that is on the rise. It's a community that is on the move, and the African community can and will contribute positively, to the city because we are in debt to the people who came before us. They have built the infrastructure. They have done everything for us to benefit from all the things that they built. Therefore, it is incumbent upon us to positively contribute in every area of New York City, whether it's economic, social, spiritual, education, public safety, public health, you name it. We need to be known as a community that everybody would love to be our neighbors because of, the positive attributes that associate with us. So therefore, I encourage you to continue to be the best neighbor, continue to be the best in school, continue to be the best employee and employer, continue to be the best friend, and continue to be the best. This way, at least 10 to 20 years from now, we will have a legacy that people and our children can build on and look at and be proud of. With that said, I want you to continue to check the latest news out of Africa or the community through our website, the Muslim Community Report or the African Community Report. It is our, bi-weekly newspaper, and the website gives you, updated information out of the continent or even locally, and whether it's a politics, whether it's economic development, whether it's economic opportunities, investments, or news, you name it, whatever it is that you would want to know, you go to the website, muslimcommunityreport.com, you probably will find it. And if you can't find what you're looking for, contact us and we'll probably incorporate it, because our goal is to provide timely information out of the continent to you here in New York City, and also to take the news from you to the continent so that we create, two-way communication, tools. So again, our website is muslimcommunityreport.com, muslimcommunityreport.com. You can send us your views and, news and activities and events, and then we'll be, we'll publish them as they fit. With that said, now I want to turn on to my guest. Our topic today is Africans on the move. And we have some in the African community, boys and girls, men and women, who are, doing great things. And they are, making sure that the children of tomorrow will have a platform, to stand on. And today my guest is Dali Kasume. Dali is a dynamic individual who came from, Namibia or Angola, and now calls Bronx a place of home, not even a house, but a home. And I have Dali today. And Dali wrote a book, books actually, and I want her to talk about, who she is and where she's from and how life was growing up in Africa and the life in New York. So welcome to the show, Dali.
Thank you very much for having me. Well, just to tell you a little bit about who I am, the best way that I could describe myself really is that I'm a creative. I love to create. I use the elements of literature, that's writing, music, poetry, all the arts kind of elements. Yes, I am from Africa. My family is originally from Angola. I grew up in Namibia. I was born at the border, so I always say I'm from both. And I now live in New York City.
So, you wrote 2 books.
Yes.
Can you describe them?
Well, I wrote 2 books. My first book is actually titled Redefine Our Existence. And this is a self-help human development book. It tackles various topics that I feel pertain to the progression of humanity. That's who I am as a person. Those are the things that are very dear to my heart. So that's what I discuss in Redefine Our Existence, which was published in 2010 by my publishing firm. The second book is my latest baby that I'm very excited about. It's titled God Summons Gabriel to New York City. Now, this is a New York love novel, and I'm excited about it because it's about a topic that's very dear to my heart. It's a love novel. It's about this couple called Gabriel and Naledi. And Gabriel and Naledi, they are from Angola, and they happen to be pedicab drivers in New York City. So this is how they make their livelihood. I'm not sure if you're familiar with a pedicab, but it's the tricycle 3-wheeler that you can carry customers on and you can give them a tour. So that's what they do. They give customers tours around Central Park, and then they taxi in the streets of Manhattan. And so Gabriel, he's a very interesting character. He's this big dynamic being who is interested in topics like philosophy, quantum physics, and spirituality, etc. But he happens to find himself at a place where he's in the crossroads of his life. Naledi, on the other hand, she is a very intuitive person. So she really lives by the principles of intuition. which somewhat puts her in an interesting position because, you know, she's a pedicab driver in the streets of New York where she's constantly meeting up with so many people, but she's also has this really strong hold about who she is and about how she wants to see the world.
So can we disclose the secret that you are a pedicab driver, perhaps the first woman, or maybe very few women who actually, you know, take on that profession?
Yes, actually, I was a pedicab driver for 3.5 years here in New York City. You know, that was my livelihood. I used to give 1-hour tours in Central Park, and I used to taxi around the streets of Manhattan. And it was a very interesting experience for me because I never anticipated this to be, you know, part of the journey of my life. However, it's a position that I found myself in. And I must say that what I got from it was mind-blowing because I found myself in the greatest cosmopolitan city in the world and having the position to look at, you know, I say the world because you have so many people from all over coming and living in the city. So I felt like I had an eagle eye view on, you know, New York. And you know, I was a different person back then. I mean, I was the only woman in, you know, in the business, and I was working with men from all over. So it was a very masculine setting. So, but I was still able to hold myself down, so to say. I learned the city. I really must say that I learned what it means to be a New Yorker, which I now consider myself being. I learned the lingo. I learned the energy. I learned what makes New Yorkers take. You know, it was quite an interesting position. So yes, I was pedicabbing around the city.
So what were the reactions of your customers?
Well, I must say that a lot of people were hesitant. Most people like, no, I'm sorry, we're not going with you. First of all, because I'm a woman, and second of all, you know, I'm pretty petite, so a lot of people like, no, you know. But I would, you know, pouch out my chest and say, like, listen, this is what I do. I would never put your life in detriment of mine. And I would tell them about the park. I would say, let me tell you a little bit about the park, you know, the history of it. New York has such an in-depth history that is incredible. I mean, it's basically built on Shiites. So there's so much wealth in terms of, you know, what the city has to offer. But then as time went along, people started, you know, trusting, like, okay, maybe she can do what she says, which is, you know, what I started doing. I met people, like I said, from all over. I had local customers. I had customers that I would take to the farmers markets. You know, they would call me up and say, Ndali, I want a pedicab ride. I'll be like, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. I got you. I worked a lot around Central Park, around 72nd area. And I had so many experiences. I remember once bumping into Michael Douglas, you know, so it was really a great experience for me.
So why pedicab? I mean, you know, with everything New York, why pedicab?
Wow. So I found myself, you know, like thousands of other New Yorkers having trouble with employment. And I knew a friend of mine who's a male and he was doing the pedicab. And I said to him, oh, you do this for livelihood? He's like, yeah, this is what I do. And I said, I can do that too. And he was like, no, you don't understand. You know, it's not just something you do. And I was like, well, you know, I had a bicycle since I was 10 years old. I used to ride a BMX bike my dad got from me. I can do this. So I started doing it. You know, a friend trained me a couple of days, and something very interesting happened in my first day of training. So there's a route that we travel. You basically travel from 59th Street South to 110th Street. You go around and you come, you know. And I wasn't familiar with the route, so what I did is I went down to the zoo. So when you're coming up from the zoo, it's like you don't go up that road. You know, guys don't do it, girls don't do it. It's a no-go zone. But I didn't know. So I picked up customers. There were 3 ladies and they had bags, and I came, you know, all the way up the hill. And at that minute, I felt like I was going to quit. It was so challenging, but I actually did it. And so when I got to the top of the hill, a guy came up to me. He was like, oh my God. And I was like, why? He's like, you just came up that hill. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, no, you don't do that. And then he goes, okay, if you can do that, then you can do the park. So I was like, okay, fine. And, you know, since then, I think everything just sort of went along and I continued doing it. And I got the hang of it, and then, needless to say, I somewhat mastered it, and it became my livelihood, I guess.